Hi everybody, it's Ken Christian. I want to tell you about an experiment that was conducted a long time ago. It's a classic in social psychology. A professor was videotaped giving a lecture, and then that videotape was shown to two distinctive groups. And the two groups, without conversation with each other, were asked afterwards to rate the professor on a number of characteristics, including warmth, brilliance, those kinds of things, but just personal characteristics. Now here's the difference. Both groups watched the same professor give exactly the same lecture. But for one group, there was a brief videotape introduction that suggested that the professor, or described the professor, as well known in his field for the excellence of his research, for the fine distinctions he made in his subject matter, and his intellectual grasp of material. All of that was true. In the other group, the videotaped introduction was also praiseworthy, but it tended to say not what it said in the first group, but it said that the professor was beloved by his students, was highly esteemed for his teaching ability, that people wanted to be in his class, and that he was a very respected professor. Very positive, also all true. Now, the groups are then asked to rate the professor on a number of personal characteristics. As you might expect, even though they watched the same exact professor giving exactly the same lecture, and the lecture went on for some time and the introduction was very brief, those who understood that the professor was intellectual and esteemed for his academic rigor and his research rated the professor as significantly less warm and personable than the group that heard that the professor was beloved and respected by his students. Okay, implication of this. You're in trouble from the beginning because you can't know everything. You can't behold everything. And you then develop trusted sources of information. You ask questions of them and you get answers, but you also trust people whom you barely know if they present something in a particular way that sounds objective and so on and so forth. These students were obviously very quickly changed so that they scanned what they were actually viewing with an eye to seeing it in a particular way. They had an introduction that set their point of view and set what they scanned for. I've told you earlier in this series that we scan for what we expect and we get the results and even evoke responses from other people based on operating out of our pre-existing ideas. This puts us at a disadvantage because you may have been told any number of things about yourself, your possibility, and your performance, including wildly positive things about how much potential you had and how great you were and how gifted you were. The only thing that really matters is a mindset that tells you you can grow and you can master things, not a mindset that tells you that your possibilities are fixed or that they're so shimmering and amazing that they become a burden for you. You've got to walk away from all these things you've told about yourself if you really want to break free and begin to achieve the desires of your heart, because that's what's significant. It's to do work that's important to you in a very high quality way so that you go home every day feeling good about what you contributed, feeling that what you worked on was worthwhile, and that what you're doing with your life is meaningful and that you have warm relationships with others. And if you want to truly break out, it's to take it even farther toward bolder moves and really moving away and saying goodbye to certain things. And I told you in the last video, if you've been watching the series, that there is a way to hack your brain. Your brain got hacked by somebody else when you were told before you went to see a professor or before you watched the tape of the professor that he was or this way or that way. Somebody got in and put a little label on things and set you up to be ready to believe something in a particular way. You can also do things with your own brain to set yourself up for being free of that and to move completely around those self-limiting beliefs and all that input that we get from other people. To set yourself truly free will be the theme of what we'll talk about in the next video. This was day 46 in my personal YouTube 90-day challenge, and I look forward to you joining me in your own 90-day challenge, or in at least being able to share with you what's happening with me as my challenge continues. I look forward to talking to you again soon.